think my mic is muted. Yeah, cool. What's up, y'all? Steve Holmes. Welcome back to another episode of The Real. Thank y'all for joining me. We got a really good and exciting, our very own, the AD, Reggie theus, will be joining us tonight. So I'm really excited about that. It's been kind of crazy how things have been kind of rolling with the show and with the app, and how you guys have continued to support us, man. It's honestly just really neat, really incredible. And I'm just happy that you guys have taken a hold to it and see this as a way for us to be, the app is like a conduit, so to speak, to the institution. And I think it's fair to let people know, because I get questions all the time about if we are affiliated with the school, and I've seen some comments about it as well. But we are not an official. We don't get any money. We don't get any kickbacks. We are a completely separate entity from the university, and so I think that needs to be said, so that you all know what we're doing here is not it's not disingenuous. It's not, we're not kind of bought media, so to speak. So again, thank y'all for joining me. I'm going to preview a new a new segment. And I'll try this just, for how long, just to see, but it's actually kind of easy to do it. Because there's so many comments about the things that are happening with the school, and sometimes I want to respond, and I see things in the Facebook groups and on Twitter, and either I don't have the time, or sometimes I just don't have the capacity. But it's I wish I could talk to that person or say something to that person, because maybe there's something that they are saying that is not all the way true, or maybe there's misconceptions or what have you. So again, this segment will be to have those moments where I find stuff on the internet that you guys may say or talk about the school, and then I address them. So I want to pull up let's get to it. So, and I'm going to do all this stuff before we get to AD theus. He hadn't chimed in yet, so we have a little bit of time here to kind of talk about some things. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, I made a repost of a clip about somebody asked a question about a white man being over the presidential search committee, and there was a comment that it made me say, okay, there's a lot of people that don't quite know the facts and the details with respect to the institution. So this guy, he says, I don't care who, and he didn't mean kissing. I think he said, I don't care who is running the search for president. The board needs to go, all of them. And I responded, I said, why do you think the board should go? I'm just curious to hear your perspective. I always like to hear why people think the way they think, because again, communication and dialogue, and that's pretty much how you get to common ground. So his response to that was, well, the money issues and mismanagement, the treatment of students, the treatment of alumni, and disbanding the alumni association, put in place by Miss Mary herself, which is true. And again, the embezzlement, theft, and and that they have perpetuated, that has left the school near closing more than once, even after being bailed out, I assume, because of them. There's more, but that should be enough. And so I see that, and I realize it's that sometimes we are not completely in the know about the happenings of the institution. And so the biggest thing and the biggest misconception that I want to make sure that we talk about quickly, or that I address quickly, is the money issues. Now, if you guys remember back when we went on SAC's probation in 20, I forget the year, 2019, 2018, I forget. We were not on academic probation. The issue we had was financial. Financial, I don't know if you want to call it malfeasance or financial integrity, but the crux of the probationary period was due strictly to finances. Now, sex is not going to allow us to pass probation or get off of probation if we have not met the standards and done the things that were required by SACs for us to pass. And so when people are saying that they have issues with the school or the finances or how they handle money, listen, we got to be fair. They had to make the necessary changes in order for us to get off of probation. And we've been on probation for several years now, and we've been kind of ticking our way back up. And again, I don't have any insight to the actual books to like confirm anything, but what I do know is the school is in much better financial shape than it was even back then. So that's just something that I want to make sure that we talk about, and we correct when people say these types of things, because they put it in public and students are reading this, parents are reading it, and it's a bit misleading, and some of it is just factually false. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna try to do something like that, like every week or whatnot. And I think we got Coach in the place, so I'm gonna pull him in because I want to give us as much time as possible to talk to the things that we are going to talk about. Let's see. All right, Coach. He was there. All right, I'll go back. Let's see. He was in the waiting room. I saw him, but I don't see him anymore. Oh, there he goes. All right. So we're gonna bring in Coach. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. What about yourself?
I'm pretty good, man. I can't believe you found time for the real in the heat of this madness with your team and a tournament coming up, man. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, listen. When I tell you this, I had about 4 or 5 people say, "Man, you got to do the show. You know, I know you got a lot going on, but you got to do the show."
Yeah, yeah.
Stephen, so you must have a real good thing going, and I know that a lot of our alumni listen, and I'm always trying to connect with our alumni all over the country. So it's an honor. I'm happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gives me something to think about and talk about other than the madness that I'm dealing with my
Yeah,
team and,
I
and,
know it.
and trying to win it on Saturday against FAMU and go to the tournament and try to get our basketball program into the NCAAs for the first time in school history. That's my goal.
It is, and from what I see and what I hear, you got about as good a shot as we've ever had to do it and make some noise next week. Listen, we got
Yeah.
some people watching. I want them to hear from you about what's happening up here in Atlanta next week, because that's a big deal. I'm in Atlanta, and
Hmm.
tell the people in Atlanta that they need to come out.
Oh, you definitely need to come out because, I've lost 3 of my starters in the beginning of the year. So
Mm,
we've been playing without actually 4 of my players and all guys that would play big minutes, and 3 of them were starters.
wow.
So, we still have mathematically a chance to come in second, but we have fought our way and clawed our way into third place. But if anybody was looking at every team on paper,
Hmm.
they would say that we're just as good or better than pretty much the whole field. Now, whether
Yeah.
we can win or not is always a different story. When you have to play 3 games in 3 nights, your bench becomes very important. And,
Right.
we've been playing with a really short bench for a long time, but it's super exciting to have that opportunity to potentially get the school into the NCAAs for the first time in
Yeah, it's
school history.
exciting, man. That'll be huge. Tell me what is different this year? Like what is different about this team that is different about the past? Because this is your third year, correct?
I'm in the middle
Oh,
of my 4th year.
in the middle of your
Yeah,
fourth.
right now.
So
Yeah,
what
in
is
the middle of
different
it.
from the last 2 or 3 years? Because and before you answer, there has been like a really healthy progress from year to year to
Hmm.
year. And
Hmm.
obviously
Hmm.
that probably goes back to recruiting and you just kind of finding that right mix of guys. But in your words, like what's been the difference this year?
Well, when I first got here, we were in the MEAC, and I brought the team into the SWAC. And obviously, when you change conferences, there's a lot of things that go along with that. But you're right, we've gotten better every year since I've been here, and I think this has been my most productive season. And people that really follow the team know that our non-conference schedule was crazy.
Yeah.
It was one of the probably top 5%, 10% in the country. And now that we are our record is 500. It's a huge accomplishment with
Yeah.
that type of non-conference schedule. The SWAC is a very difficult conference. It's incredibly competitive. Let me give you a sense of how competitive it is.
Mhm.
We are a half a game out of second place and 1 game out of seventh place. So
Yeah.
that's how crazy it is.
So Saturday is a humongous game then.
Well, we're already set in third position now.
Okay.
Fortunately and unfortunately, we play in FAMU, which is our rival game. It's the game that everybody cares the most about,
Right.
and we've been very fortunate. Since I've been here, we've only lost the FAM one time, and they got a new coach now, and he's doing a fantastic job. Their team is playing a lot better basketball than it did in the beginning of the year. So it is going to be a bit of a brawl in that sense. It means more to them in the sense that their seeding is not set yet.
Gotcha.
So if they win the game, one thing can happen. If they lose the game, another thing can happen. So I'm hoping that our guys, and this is part of the problem with the way the culture is with NIL and the transfer portal. I had to replace 11 players from my last year's team. So we're
Wow.
doing it with 11 new players that don't really understand the culture of BCU
Wow.
and what this game really means to our fan base and everybody else. I've been trying to give them the lay of the land as much as possible,
Yeah.
and really leaning more on protecting our house, and making sure that we go into the tournament, on a high, on winning. We have four games right now to get to the NCAAs. The one on Saturday against FAM, and then 3 in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's how I'm kind of looking at these last 4 games for us.
It feels special for sure. You brought up something, and just so you know, throughout our discussion, we have a mailbag and alumni. They send us questions. So as you bring up things, I'll pop some questions in,
Sure, no
and
problem.
then toward the end, I'll see how many of these we can get through. But one, you brought up NIL, and one of our alumni asked, with the evolving NIL landscape, how was a university adapting to stay competitive?
Well, we have our whole conference has a lot going on when it comes to that. Yeah, NIL is
I know it's brutal.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a killer for
Yeah.
our in the SWAC and the MEAC and all of HBCUs because we don't have NIL money like that.
Right.
So it becomes more competitive in the sense, and we have to also try to persuade and make our alumni and our donors know that you're either in the NIL game or you're not.
Right.
And if you're not in it, you're behind. So people don't want to give to NIL. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. When you couple that with, our facilities,
Hmm.
it's pretty tough to overcome when you're looking at places in our conference that have great, facilities, arenas to play in, and
Yeah.
these types of things. So it is a tough thing for us. We've been managing it pretty well. We got a really good team, and I'm excited. When you start to look at what the possibilities can be, even in the future.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing, and I can read between the lines here,
Yeah, go ahead, man. Sometimes
alumni.
it's better you say it than I say
Yeah,
it.
alumni and donors. That was as much of a call for help as there ever was. And while I think we can compete in the game, right? There's a game outside of the game, and that's like the facilities and all the other things that is really important to the program and thus important to the institution. So Reggie theus just said, y'all need to get y'all asses together
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
some money to the school. You know what I'm saying? But to that point,
So a lot of times, the loudest voices give the less,
right?
give
Well,
the
yeah,
least, give
yeah,
the least.
yeah, yeah. But so, and I know there are and I think it's important, and I think you probably know this now, that there's been a bit of a tussle between really the alumni and the institution because of things
Sure.
that have happened in the past. So I think the giving has been reluctant at best.
Well, let
Uh,
me jump on that really quick.
okay,
Since I've been here and the work that we've done, the alumni giving is back on the trend upwards now.
good,
and, and,
good.
and so I'm really happy with our alumni. We started up the Wildcats Champions Club, a year or so ago, and we relaunched it, and we had over $230,000 in our alumni in our Wildcats Champion Club, and
Wow.
that had all to do with our alumni from different parts of the country. So that was one of the biggest things that we had in trying to build the football facility and refurbish the buildings that we're trying to do. All of that, not all of the money, but a lot of that money came from, the Wildcats Champions Club and our alumni. So kudos to our alumni for growing and allowing us to get back on track with each other. And a lot of the conversations that have been going on, I hear them. I know all about them. I was not here when all that was going on,
Right.
but listen, my shoulders are broad, and I'm here for the right reasons. So,
Yeah.
we did a lot. I mean, when you think about where we went with our football alumni guys, and now we have over 200 active alumni in football that are involved in our Wildcats Champions Club, and it's growing all the time. So I want everybody to understand that we have done a lot in the last 4 years. I don't know. I asked George actually to send you the stuff that we've done in the last 4 years.
Yeah, he did.
So
He sent me some quite a few things, and I think sometimes it takes and then I wish I had this like sooner. I would have like made like a funky graphic, but I mean, I know just recently, right, the $100,000 donation for the tennis program, which is
yes, yes.
huge. And how so? Let me ask you this question: what does a tennis program do with $100,000?
Well, first of all, we don't have our own facilities. The one really bad thing about our situation is we don't own any of our facilities.
Right.
All of our facilities that we have, we rent from the city to utilize. The only thing that we own on the university side is Moore's Gymnasium. So right now, that USTA is given $100,000, and plus there's a couple more that are coming from that, and we're gonna put in three tennis courts over by the track that we have on campus, which we're also trying to redo. And when you think about that, is a huge relationship for us because it's not just about football, it's not just about basketball, it's about all sports.
Yep.
We have 14 sports, and we need a 15th sport, but we have 14 sports, and we're just going to continue to try to build it all.
Yeah. So a big question, and this I know you've heard this from people since you've been here,
Hmm.
and you brought up with our lack of facilities. Like, what can we realistically expect? Is there potential for us to add facilities And then how does that realistically look? Like, what is a realistic timeline for, say, a a new gym, or obviously I don't think a football field is in the cards, but even
Yeah,
just a
no.
new field house or something like that. Like how does that look? Is it possible? Have you guys talking about it? Is
Well, Stephen, this is how it's gone. When I got here, I started immediately talking about a championship culture. Talking about, and when you sit back and you think about a championship culture, and then you think about facilities, and you go, well, how can you have a championship culture without facilities? So the vision that I had coming in here was realized when Charles Barkley gave me my first large donation. Through that donation and some help from the university, we were able to put in, a synthetic football practice field for football
right,
right
which is
on
which is
campus.
beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
Yes. And along with that, with the money, we came in under budget, we came in on time. I told everybody that all the things that have gone on at BCU, like these are the projects that give you back your credibility because you said you're going to do something,
Yes.
you got donations, people can see that money where it went and how it's growing. We went from the on-campus synthetic football field to refurbishing the old weight room. Now we have a locker room. And with another part of the donation that we got from Gail Limeron,
Yeah.
we've been able to add showers and a bathroom. So right now, the team has a on-campus practice field. Before that, we were spending almost $200,000 a year busing them back and forth
Yeah.
to the municipal stadium for practice, and then backing a U-Haul up to the facility and taking their clothes to the laundromat.
Yeah.
You
That's no
talking
way to
about
be.
ghetto? That's ghetto. That's
Yeah.
real ghetto.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
for a
is.
Division I football team.
I would
So
agree with you.
now,
Yeah.
so now what happened is through that portion of the donation, as that started the ball rolling, the credibility we gained from that part, Gail Limeron gave us another sizable donation, which is allowing me to redo the two buildings on ISB and Jesse. That's just going to give us a laundry room, an equipment room, which we haven't had. And a lot of the conversations that you've heard over the past, well, there's mold in the helmets, this and this is happening to our equipment and our gear. Well, what
Yeah.
happens in Florida when you take wet football gear and store them in an iron box
Yeah. Yeah.
with no ventilation? What do you think is going to happen? So that donation has allowed us to start, and we're in the middle of it right now, rebuilding, revitalizing that building. And it has a lot to do with the whole corridor. When you talk about the relationship with our city and the corridor right there in the Midtown area, it is all a part of that revitalization situation. We're
Yeah.
going to have a laundry room, an equipment room. We're going to have a 11,000 square foot academic center. We're going to have a laundry room, and that is also part of that is going to be we are redoing our Wildcats Hall of Fame, our Walk of Fame. So that is going to be a huge thing, and this is all a part of the vision of how you grow a championship culture. You can't expect Woody to have a championship team when he doesn't have the things that are necessary to recruit those championship players.
Agreed. Agreed. And I think that is obviously, a big football is obviously you're in Florida, so I don't have to tell you how important football is
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But we want to compete. But before I jump into that, I do have a couple of
Can
questions.
I just say this really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I say this because I have the opportunity to really talk about the city of Daytona.
All right.
And what the city manager see before I got here, the university didn't have a great relationship with the city of Daytona.
Yeah,
And Derek Theus, the city manager,
it's my
we
man.
have city commissioners that are now involved that were never involved. Commissioner Reed, Commissioner May, they're all involved in the football programs, the basketball programs, and they have championed my efforts to build and to grow our facilities and our athletics in general.
Yeah,
So,
no, yeah,
all of the relationships it's really all about the relationships.
it is, and I think that's a key to a lot of it. And I will agree that the local community, well, not the local community, the city and the school, it's been a tenuous relationship over the years, and so having people like Derek Fieger there, a grad, I know that
Yeah.
has to make a world of a difference when it's time to negotiate contracts with city buildings that we may utilize. So I know that's a huge deal. I got a question.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd still be stuck in quicksand if it wasn't for them.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is from an alumni.
Hmm.
This says the university missed an opportunity to hire an NFL Hall of Fame legend, Ed Reed. How did that decision come about, and what lessons were learned?
It's really not the lessons that we learned. He learned a
Right.
lesson. And I'm not going to really talk about that because it's not worth talking about.
I would agree with
Because
you.
what he learned is that the biggest person on this campus is Dr. Mary McCall Bethune. And when you disrespect her, you got to go. And that's just really the end of it.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm.
the idea behind wanting to do that was the right idea because I'm about progress. See, I'm not here to looking for my next job.
Right.
I'm here to do a job. So I don't necessarily care how you feel about the job that we do because we have to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And so when you think about all of that, you know, the reason that came about is because what they did at Jackson State.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they brought me in here, another pro in a field to do a job, and that opportunity came off of one other opportunity. So I said, you know what? I'm trying to build these facilities. I'm trying to do all these things for football and all of athletics. Let me go out and find somebody that has long arms that can help me facilitate all that.
Yeah.
So he had never coached before, and I gave him a tremendous opportunity that he wasn't ready for, and that's really the bottom line.
Well, I tend to share your same sentiments. I know that's it's still a sore spot with people because it still comes up, and I'm like, I think he had his chance, and I tell people I think he blew it. But let's leave that there. I do have. This is going to get some people kind of talking a little bit. But how was the university? And there's only one thing that is
Hmm.
bigger than football and sports at a black college, and it's the band. And
Yeah, for real,
listen,
right?
and the question is, how is the university ensuring that the marching Wildcats have the resources to travel to major games? Now, before you answer
Yeah.
that, I was in the band, and
Awesome. What'd you play?
I was in the drum line. I was section lead and all that good
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
there from like 2001 to 2005, 4 or 5, and back when I was in the program, we traveled a lot more. Obviously, I know times are different now with budget and stuff,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
we love to see the band, and it's been kind of bittersweet that we moved over to the SWAC because the SWAC also has a bunch of really good bands, and we
Yeah.
haven't had the
Competition is good
chance.
though.
Yeah, we haven't had the chance to really see any of those programs. So this question means a lot to me, as I know it means a
Yeah.
lot to the entire community. How can we ensure that we get to see the band a little bit more in the coming years on the road?
Well, listen. The bigger thing is that the band has its own schedule. You
Yeah.
know, Donovan Wells, he's the guy. So I call him up and I talk very softly when I talk with him because it's very necessary for the band to be in sync with everything, and they have to function in their path, but certainly we all have to be together. And before they travel other places, our on campus games in football and basketball, they are tremendous. Listen, I don't know if you know this or not. I'm sure you do. Most of the people listening, they know that we have the best atmosphere in Moore's Gym in all of the SWAC. There's no question that when you come to Moore's Gym, when the band's in there, that
Yeah.
it is a real party.
Yeah.
And the band is I grew up on the West Coast, so I wasn't a big HBCU guy. So I learned all this as I got here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn something at a later age in your life, you absorb it differently. Like I can talk about the story of Dr. Bethune and our band and our school university, and I get chills because it means that much to me now.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're trying to do with the band is that we have a championship, track team that has about a 70-yard straightaway that you and I would not even want to walk on because it is that raggedy.
Yeah.
And it's over the field where it is. Underneath that is where the dump is.
Right.
So it drains really poorly. Across from that is the band practice field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my next goal after I finish the football facility, the Gail Lemeron Academic Multiplex, the locker room and the showers, I'm going to take that field and we're going to turn it a little bit to the right. And there's enough room if we turn it to the right to put a 6-lane track around that field.
Mm.
Now, what that will do is that'll give our band an incredible field to practice on. That'll give our alumni and our students a way to exercise and the community to be a part of this field that our intramurals is going to go up. And one of the things that's really so difficult about our campus is there's not a lot for people to do.
Yeah,
so this from a health and well-being and a mental health standpoint, it'll be a great thing. And it's one of the perks that I'm trying to make sure that we do to keep our band happy and keep it, treat them like they really are. And they are superstars.
Yeah, they are. They are. And that sounds good. That's interesting.
But see, you know how much that costs? That's almost about $2 million.
Alumni. That's $2 million. So listen, just stuff. I think everybody's got to do their part. I'm not saying the alumni. We got to do all the heavy lifting, but I always say many hands make light work, and so we want the band, the football team, the basketball, golf, tennis to have nice things. Like I do believe we bear a portion of that responsibility. So that's I'm excited to hear that, and I'm hoping that does come to fruition. It sounds like obviously in the middle of this SWAC tourney, like you're thinking about all of these things, but that does bring me to another question. And a lot of people, especially when you first started, there were concerns about your ability to be AD and the basketball coach, as those are two really demanding jobs. So what do you say to the people who may feel some way about you holding both of those positions?
Well, I could always say how you like me now. But the reality is that, this is about relationships.
Yeah.
Sherry Paramore in Advancement has been tremendous helping me raise money.
She's great, isn't she?
Yeah, she used to be in the band. I told her she didn't really play an instrument. She just was a person that shined up the instrument. That's what I always told her. And of course, I got some choice words after that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
But when you think about what we've done fundraising wise in just under 4 years, we've raised almost $4 million.
That's incredible.
In almost 4 years, probably I can't remember the exact number, but it's under 4 million. And when you think about how that really works, it's really about relationships.
Yeah.
And listen, my deputy AD George Bright, I brought on after my second year. My senior associate AD Scott Summer, I just brought on another my compliance guy, Jason Pompey. I take Coach Laura Watton, who is a legendary softball coach, and made her SWA. And that's after taking over from a legendary athletic director in Lynn Thompson, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. And when you think about the relationships and how that really works, I'm a big picture guy. I have a lot of great ideas. I'm a coach, so I can think on my feet. I think, you give me information, I can figure things out. Right. I'm not afraid to ask for money. And I always say this like this. I had no experience as an athletic director, and it was really one of the main reasons why I took the coaching job. because when they offered me the athletic director's position before they offered me the coaching job. And I said, well, if I'm the athletic director, I'm going to hire myself as the coach.
Sure.
And they said, well, if you want to work that hard, if you think you can do it, then let's go. And so I commend our administration for thinking outside the box, giving me a chance to do this, and giving me the opportunity to perform and really make it happen. See, if for me, you wouldn't have to walk me out the door, because if I couldn't move the needle, I'd walk myself out the door.
Sure.
And that's what I really believe in this situation.
Yeah, when you got hired, the first person I thought about, and you took both jobs, the first person I thought about was Stan Van Gundy when he went to Detroit. And I think he was GM and coach or something like that. And I'm like, that didn't go too well. So
Well,
that
you know
was,
what, though? You know, Stephen, let me tell you this, though. When you have the hammer and the nail, it works really well.
oh, sure.
You know,
Sure.
when I'm in the room with the administration, and I have the opportunity to chime in for athletics, you know, my coaches love the fact that I'm the athletic director,
Yeah.
because I live the same problems that they live being the basketball coach. Whether it's track, whether it's football,
Right.
softball, volleyball, whatever, I live the same problem.
That's
And
actually
see,
good
so
perspective there.
so think about Popovich, who's
Yeah.
been the president and the GM for a long GM and the coach for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it gives us a perspective that's very different. I'm not in the ivory tower. I got boots on the ground,
Sure. Sure.
and
I
you know my energy level is high, as you can
Yeah.
already tell.
Yeah.
You can already tell. I'm ready to go. Just throw me the ball. I'm gonna get you 20.
Yeah, let's go. I was yeah, I didn't, you know what? I didn't look at it from that perspective, that if you know, being the coach and the AD, that you actually do get to give the perspective of being a coach on the road, traveling or having to deal with the conditions, because sometimes the AD is so far dealing with the business of the sport that sometimes they don't see it. And so
Yeah.
I think that's something that I did not consider, you know, once you decide to take both positions. But I will
Yeah.
say I have fallen way back. Now I will say we're waiting on our football team. You get our football team and our program back rolling, yeah, you'll be, man. We're gonna put a statue out there,
Well,
out there,
Well,
you
where
know.
does it start? Where does it start? When in today's world,
Yeah,
with the NIL, with these kids today, when they can dial up anything they want on any team and any place in the country, it
yeah,
starts with your facilities. If
yep,
you don't have the amenities to lure these kids and to tell them we can do all this for you, then you really are way behind.
yeah,
And this football facility that I've been working on for the last few years, and the gifts that I've got from Charles Barkley and Limeron and the school's help, and there's other people out there that are waiting to fall in line. We're going to finish outside of this Gail Limeron multiplex probably April or May. The outside of it, the
okay,
facade of it,
I
the
love it.
inside of it. I've already got half the money to do the academic center. Now I need another 300,000 to do the locker. I mean, to do the equipment room and the laundry room. I need another 200,000 to do the lounge. I have it. I have it on video. I have an animated version of what it would look like. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
And when I show people, they see where we're headed. And, I don't like to talk too much. And I know you guys all like to talk about this. I'm okay with it, so don't worry about me. Everybody wants to talk about what it used to be like
sure.
and what was going on back then.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm concerned about where we're going. And I'm concerned about the moves and the positions that we can set ourselves up for 20, 30 years from now. Because one of the things I've seen since I got here is that people get hung up on the wrong stuff. And when somebody goes away, they take their pencils on their pad and their notebooks and their ball and they go home and they leave the people that are coming behind them with nothing. My job and George Bright's job and Jason and Scott, our job is to build something, along with Sherry Paramore, to build something that is long lasting. Our acting president right now has been a great champion for us. And Dr. Barry is really a great guy. He's really tried to really help our cause. And so I'm just pleased with the direction that we're going in.
Yeah,
And we got a lot of work to do, man. So if we
definitely.
spend too much time talking about what happened instead of where we are, the one thing I will tell you, nobody can say one thing about where the money is. Nobody can say one thing about where the money went because they can see where the money is.
Yeah, I
They
made
all
a.
they have to do is come over,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
check it out.
they can see it. Yeah, I was making a point about that earlier before you got on, and that that the our money situation, we need a lot of money, but in terms of how it's being used, I don't know that that can be an excuse for not contributing or giving or whatnot
So
because we
so
see things that
Stephen,
are being done. Yes, sir.
Stephen, you're talking about stuff that I'm very passionate about. So you have to forgive me because I'm also a coach. So my voice and my passion is real. It's something that I do every day. You know, someone says, "Well, coach, what's this? What you do this and talk?" I said, "No, you don't want to talk shit to me because I talk shit for a living." So you got to be careful. All
Yeah.
right. So when you talk about, you know, what has gone on and how we need to rebuild our relationships, you have to allow what is being done to be the caveat for your thoughts about where we are today. Because this is a new BCU. This is that administration, and even to this administration right now, things have changed enormously with our
Yeah.
administration and
Yeah.
our board of trustees, and all these things have changed. But the things that they needed to do at that time, and I don't know if you talked about this or not. Let me put it this way: the university needs $200 million. Okay, that is to fix things that should have been fixed 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
Okay. In athletics, we need about 10 million to really do what I need to do. There's a big difference.
It
And
is.
I always say that if people don't want to give to the university, athletics and the band is a great way to start. The numbers are a lot smaller, but not more important, but just differently.
Right. Right. So yeah, all of that, yeah, is important for alumni to hear, because $200 million is not a drop in the bucket, and I don't think, and this is not an exclusive issue to us. It's just the our culture with our institutions, and
Most HBCUs need that kind of money, by the way.
right, right, right. So it's like we know that's an issue, and it's not unique to us. So it's like we've got to do what we can to like lift ourselves up. You don't know that you're ever going to hit that 200 million mark in one swipe, but again, over time, you think there's a way to do that. So, here's a money question: how do you feel about money games? Because we know that
Well,
ends up
yeah.
being a big it's a big influx of money for us for our athletic programs, but there's a drawback to those games as well. Injury early in the season,
Yeah.
especially for us. So, what is your take on it? And I know, well, what is your take on it? I'll let you answer.
Well, listen, when we first got here, there were a certain amount of games that were done in football, and we've actually rolled it back a little bit. A year ago, we got a couple of guys hurt in a game against Miami.
Yeah,
Um,
Luke. Yeah,
so you can't get away from money games because the football program, football, it costs a lot of money to run a football program, and you're
right,
just not going to make enough money, and you don't have the budget to really sustain itself without those money games. Now you can, instead of having three money games, you can have two, or you can have one, or you can play a little bit. You can play two money games. One, not two of them don't have to be in the 500,000 range. It could be, a little different. You make 200,000. That's
right.
still $700,000 that coming in for football. So
Yeah,
I believe in money games. I think it's necessary, on from an HBCU's perspective, or just we don't. It's not even HBCU. It's basically this level of athletics. They have to, because that's the way they sustain themselves. There's no
definitely.
major TV contracts. And our conference has done a phenomenal job with TV revenue and building the SWAC. The SWAC is grown tremendously in the
Yeah,
last couple of years, and
definitely.
it has a
Smack
great
brand. Yeah,
name now.
yeah.
Yeah, the brand is tremendous. So, I believe in the money games. I think that we've done a really good job George did a great job of. We had two heavy money games coming next year. Now we've only got one heavy money game for next year, and now we're working on trying to fix that for 25 and 26.
Right, right. With respect to the athletic department, somebody asked a question in the comments. He said, "What is being done about marketing for the athletic department?"
Again, winning takes care of a lot of that. And marketing is something I think that if you stay on our website, if you're interactive with our website, there's a lot that goes on our website that people don't know about because they don't tune in. We don't have, we're building relationships with the local newspaper, but if you look at it, I just had a national piece go out on the job that I've done in the basketball program.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there, and I will tell you this: we're going to do a big PR push here on the building and the locker room. Going into the SWAC tournament. So be on the lookout for that PR for our alumni, for the athletic department, and really all the things that I've done and my staff have done since I've been here. So it's something that I don't think we pat ourselves on the back enough. I think that a lot of times, and be honest with you, be perfectly honest. If you want to keep 100 with 100, you want to keep the main thing, right?
Yep.
So much negative stuff has come from our own people. The infighting, the negative stuff that was going back and forth, that kills your university. That stops people from wanting to give to the university. Yeah. But that's why I'm so pleased with how things have turned around, and people are starting to ask the right questions and start to understand. When they started to talk about, oh, it's a 40-yard field. It's not worth this. It's not worth that. I said, just keep your nose down, keep working. Those same people will look at the field when we're done and go, you know what? Hey, we need to. This guy is doing the right thing. We need to get on board here, and that's what's happening.
Yeah. I think slowly. Slowly. The alumni are kind of coming back around, and like you said earlier, like people just want to see the proof of the work, and I will give the athletic department credit in terms of being able to raise money and all the things and build and help to like upgrade what we have. We don't have everything, but it's important to protect and maintenance and upkeep what we do have. And so I can say that today, because I remember, and you were talking about the moldy helmet thing and all of that. I remember how terrible I felt when I was hearing that. I was on Twitter and people were like really dogging the school about the helmet situation and the uniform situation. That just doesn't feel good, like, at all.
No.
Yeah, it's like because half the time it's overstated, when that thing's happening. Then it's like, Bethune Cookman is a bunch of brokies, and all the uniforms are dirty and stank and don't go. So it turns into this thing it's really not. It was just a moment where I think we just didn't show our best foot.
Well, you know what though, it was true. To some degree, the circumstances were not necessarily the same as what everybody was saying. Mm-hmm. But like I said, when you're putting wet football gear in a tin in a metal box, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So if you don't want that circumstances, then you got to help me build the equipment room and the laundry room so that we can have more. The money that we've raised at Bethune Cookman, I look at all of this, being a team guy in team sports my entire life. This is a team. Yeah. From advancement to the upper administration to my staff to my basketball staff. I didn't raise this money just by myself. We raised this money because we are a team, and we filled in all of the the accolades from that. And our president, when it's all said and done, he gave me the power and the ability to have the vision to really make it all work. So we, and I say we, I mean us, y'all, everybody around, we have to pull together. Because if you don't pull together, what you're all talking about, what you want, is never going to happen. It's
Agree.
never going to happen because it don't build by itself.
Yeah.
You
Let me.
don't come up with new facilities through osmosis. It happens
No.
because you put some cash in the
Yeah.
pot.
That is true. That is true. I want to, but before we go on, we just want to address a couple of comments. There was
Hmm.
one, Taji. We talked about him being AD and coach a little bit earlier in the call. I'm not sure if you were there for that, and also he answered about the band traveling, and we still the big of it is with the band, especially is it's still a money thing, right? And it costs a lot to move the band,
Yeah.
and so yeah, most of our conversation with respect to the athletic department is really centered around money. So I just wanted you to know that some of those
Well,
questions
well, you know
are.
what though, Stephen? Let me. Can I say this to you real quick?
Mhm.
When you talk about a championship culture, and you want to have a championship culture by executing a high level of academics and athletic experience for all your student athletes. You
Right.
see, and operating with integrity, intelligence, and commitment is really what this is all about.
Yep.
Winning and going to a postseason is what this is really all about. Our jobs are to build successful people. That's our jobs.
Yeah.
And in order to do that on a certain level, you have to have facilities. So
Exactly.
when you talk about these things, you always have to remember that you can want all you want. You can wish all you want to. It's not going to happen if we don't put the work in and do the legwork and the hard knocks that's going to happen for us to get where we need to go. And listen, I promise you one thing. I'm in this for the right reasons. You can like me or not like me. I really don't care. But what I do care about is the job that I'm doing with this athletic department and as a basketball coach. And I'm going to do this to the fullest.
Yep.
So anybody that I'm an open door, I'm an open book. I don't have anything to hide. And I pride myself on being transparent, sometimes to a fault. And so I challenge anybody to look at what we've done, to think about the things we're trying to do, and say something that's not in line with that because you
Right.
need to check yourself.
Yeah. I think half my this platform exists primarily because I believe that, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, there was such an information gap on what was true and what was not true, and
Yeah,
the things that were
yeah,
actually happening and the things that weren't
yeah.
happening. And to some people, perception is reality, and what they see is
Yep,
what it is. And I'm like, there's some nuance in some of the issues that the institution and even the sports department deal with. And I think it's important that, again, you coming on here and us being me being a conduit to the alumni and the people who really want to see more and better from the institution and the teams. Like, it's good to have these discussions.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
I'm gonna wrap it up. I had quite a
Steve,
few
can I say this
questions.
last thing? I want people to understand that when you're talking about building successful people, our overall GPA in athletics is 3.24
That's a good.
overall, 3.24. We graduate almost 80% of our athletes.
That's important.
So I want people to understand that along with trying to have a championship culture, you have to have championship academics. And we're doing both at this point. And that's something for our alumni to be very proud of.
Yeah, and I have it here that you was like a 78% graduation rate,
Yeah.
which is significantly higher than the universities at 28%. Do y'all understand how crazy that is? That the athletes' graduation rate is higher than the typical student or the average student. And to me, those are the things. That's not a really good stat. I don't care how you look at it, because that should listen. That should be
Yeah, no,
equal
it's terrible.
at
Yeah.
it should be equal at best, right? It should be equal
Yeah.
at best. But the students who actually come there just to be students, they aren't graduating. And I'm not the president. I'm not the provost or things. So I don't know how to solve that issue.
Well,
But those,
they're graduating a lot of times in 6, 7 years, where we graduate our athletes in 4.
the
And
what
there's a lot of reasons for that. The NCAA mandates they keep us on this thing called PTD, which is progress toward your degree. And we have to stay in line with that. I used to have this big argument with a lot of people on campus when they were behind in our evaluations. They were behind. They have a date over here that doesn't coincide with our date, and I had to make them understand. And that's another reason why being in the room was important.
Yeah.
That we are not governed by the university's dates. We're governed by the NCAA dates,
Right.
because we have to have progress toward our degree. All that stuff is important, and that's why we're graduating our kids in 4 years.
Yeah, I got a question in the chats. Adrian said, "How do you plan to improve fan attendance and engagement for sports besides the fan favorite football?"
Well, listen, we sell out Moore's Gym all the time.
Yeah, I know y'all did it.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
we have the fire marshal was out there the other day, and we had to shut the people down from going in there. And we again, winning solves all those things.
Yep.
When our football team becomes the kind of team that we all expect it to be in the next couple of years, the attendance will get better. I want to remind you that the spring football game is in April, and homecoming is in October against Arkansas Pine Bluff. The April 12th date is at 1 o'clock for a spring football game. So it starts there.
Yeah. When will we see an official football schedule? Is that coming up anytime soon, or?
Oh, yeah, no, we've already finished the football schedule, so I'm sure it's going to be coming out soon. There's no reason to do it during basketball season, but shortly
True.
after that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Well, Coach, man, this has been great. This has been great. I'm glad we had a chance to do this. If you need anything, and to the people, we had quite a few questions. He answered a lot of y'all questions. He gave us way more than I think I envisioned in terms of questions. But if there's any questions that you guys want me to get to him, I'll do you like I did John Crossman last week. I send you an email with some of the questions that we either missed or maybe didn't get answered, just so you can address those. But yeah, if you need the AV,
we have to have more people in our board of trustees like John Crossman. He's a tremendous guy, and he really has his head on about what's good for the university.
Yeah,
I'm happy he was on.
Yeah, he stepped in the lines in last week, and he handled it great, and so yeah. But if you need the AV, obviously we're not officially affiliated with the school or the program, but if you need us to amplify anything that's happening with any of the teams, the program, you got my information now. I'm happy to do it. That's why I'm doing it. And man, we're all excited next week for you guys to do your thing at the tournament. And yeah, I think this has been fun.
I want to tell you that thank you for letting me come on, because I really do need the platform to really get to our alumni. I prayed for this job when I was semi-retired, because I always prayed for an opportunity to do more. And when this job presented itself, I had to make a decision that when you pray for something, you got to be ready to move.
You got to be ready to receive it. Yeah.
So I put my golf clubs down, and I came from California to here, and we've been grinding ever since. But your program, the alumni that it reaches, the people that are there. Listen, I know there've been a lot of pain. I know there's been a lot of hurt, but right now you have the best of all worlds in the sense that I'm not going to fail you. When you're behind us, we're going to make sure that it works. And
Definitely.
as we build this, we build it together. It's not me. It's not the administration. It's all of us. We as I tell my team, we're in the trenches. You have to dig ditches to earn the right to be winners. And
Absolutely.
that's why we're where we are this year, because we've dug the ditches that are necessary.
Yeah.
As a university, as alumni, as we grow together, we can make this happen. But we have to be together. If we're not together, it's not going to ever be what we all want it to be. And all it's going to be is a lot of talk. Because a lot of people have a lot of talk that don't do nothing about it. but again, I accept the fact that they've been hurt. I accept the fact that a lot of things have happened, but that is not what we're dealing with now.
No. And before I let you go, how can alumni help?
I would say that uh, obviously it's always just about support. But when it's all said and done, it's about money and it's about giving. And it's not a matter about how much, it's just a matter of consistently giving. Just let me give you an example. Part of the football locker room, it cost $340,000 to put new lockers in this locker room. We've had a campaign going on for over a year now trying to sell those lockers. Okay? We have a plaque on the locker that says donated by. And you can put your name, your family, your business, whatever you want on that locker. It's renewable every 3 years.
Okay.
That money goes back into the football program. It goes back into building that facility out. That's $345,000 to our bottom line. And it also gives us a chance to let people be a part of our football program. You talk about John Bryan, who we named the football field after.
Mm-hmm.
He's a regular guy that's done some great investments, but he gives consistently and without even reservation. He called me today, and I didn't even ask him for anything. Coach, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing with the basketball team. I know you're working hard for the football team. In about a month or so, I'm going to have some things together where I want to make another donation. And
That's
he'll
amazing.
tell you that mindset of giving is what we have to. And shame on the university for not fostering that mentality of giving, years and years ago. But that's a whole nother podcast, man, at another time.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
You have given me more than I think I was asking, and I hope the alumni have been pleased with this kind of back and forth and just kind of picking your brain and asking some easy questions, some tough questions. And I know you've been in the NBA, so you're used to getting the tough questions. Um,
Sometimes the tougher questions are the easiest ones.
oh,
If you're
sure.
telling the truth, you don't have nothing to hide. You don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for joining us, man. I'm gonna let you
All
go,
right.
and this has been great. Let's do it again.
Man, you got me fired up over here. Don't get me started.
Man,
I got to get my head right.
all right, go in on Saturday, beat FAMU, and I'll see you. Me and my family will be coming to see you guys when you get up here next week. I'm excited.
Well, anytime you need me, just call. Don't even worry about it.
Thank you, Coach.
No protocols. Just make it happen.
Right on. Thank you, man.
Later, man.
All righty. Well, so what do you guys? What do you all think? That was good. That was good. I was trying to keep up with y'all questions during most of that, but moving too fast. He and I were talking, but he did answer quite a bit. I think you guys sent me. I think I counted like 26 or 27 questions. They sent me some talking points and things, which I think we got to most of it. But I feel like there's definitely some clarity on some things. I know again one of the biggest questions was him being, AD and coach at the same time, and I feel like I'm okay because at least at this point, number one, we know that he's been raising money since he's been here. They have been updating facilities, doing things. It feels worse because the football team isn't doing so well. So it just makes it feel like we're he has to he takes the brunt of that. But listen, the job he's doing with the basketball team, we got to give him credit. There has been consistent progress year over year since he started, and that is important. And so volleyball was good this year. Um, Obviously, baseball and softball are generally good every year. And so it's just a matter of getting the football back doing its thing. And I feel like, the program will feel like a championship program again. And listen, it's no telling what's going to happen next week with the basketball team because they really are playing some good basketball. And I didn't know they had four guys out to start the year. So that's a big deal. Listen, y'all were great. As always, it's it is an honor to be able to do this show with you all. But there will be no show next week because, as we mentioned in the call, oh, you know what I didn't do? Let me pause my thoughts. I didn't even highlight my MVPs, right? So for those of you who are watching, we have people that contribute to the show anywhere from $5 to whatever. It don't matter the amount. You can send $1. But last week we had 10 people to donate to the show. We're trying to get a camera and some other things. We have operational expenses to run this show. I'm not trying to build no facilities. I'm just trying to, bring a little something to y'all and do it the best way possible. But Adrian, Tundra done gave to the show a couple of times. Thank you, Tundra. I love you. Gerard, Theron from HBCU Sports Talk. Edward, me and you supposed to talk at some point. Taji, Marcy, Jarvel, Nina, Derek. Listen, thank y'all. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because doing this show is not, it takes way more than I thought, especially as the guests, the level of guest creeps up. So it takes a little bit, takes some time, but I'll do it because I love my school. I know y'all love the school, and we just want to make sure when we step out, man, like we doing our thing, and people feel good about Bethune Cookman University. And so yeah, I feel like I'm done. Again, no show next week. SWAC tournament. We got FAMU coming up on Saturday, and that's gonna be a huge game. And I hope you all tune in. If you in Atlanta, listen, I want to see y'all there next Thursday, 8:30 p.m. It's at the Gateway Arena up in, I think, Gwinnett. We got to show up and show out for our team. And this has been a good show. Before I go, my show didn't drop one time tonight. Pat myself on the back. I wish I had some little claps I can pipe in. My show didn't drop. I know it glitched a few times here and there, but it didn't drop. God is good. All right, y'all. Peace.